Thank you for joining me today. It's Brian Gubernick, and welcome to the No Days Off podcast, where we believe that every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. Today, I want to talk about shortcuts, taking shortcuts, and why I believe that for the vast majority of cases, taking a shortcut is detrimental. There are downsides to taking shortcuts. Number one, taking shortcuts. I've found that when you take a shortcut, it is oftentimes a reason for failure. We've talked about it in episodes past. We've gone through reasons for failure, reasons for quitting. A lot of times taking a shortcut is what leads to that. Maybe it's frustration from that shortcut. Maybe it's a failure that results from that shortcut that just totally, undermines everything that you've been building. But that small, just bad thought or bad move on your part because you want to take a shortcut or make it easier on yourself is detrimental for the project at large. So number one, shortcuts lead to failure. Shortcuts lead to killing the momentum you've been working to create. Number two, shortcuts reduce quality a lot of the times. Shortcuts oftentimes sacrifice quality for speed. And by cutting corners, you may actually produce work that's incomplete or that's subpar. Or you may, do things that lead to errors or defects or just unsatisfactory outcomes. So shortcuts reduce quality. Shortcuts increase the likelihood of mistakes or of errors because they bypass the standard procedures or the more thorough process or just simply the time you would have taken. And when you do this, you could have less accuracy, you can have omission, you could have oversights. All of these things create negative consequences. Why else should you not take a shortcut? Reputational damage. When you consistently take shortcuts, you become known as the guy or the girl that takes shortcuts. That is impacting your credibility. It's impacting your reputation. And that's just not professionally, that's also personally. People will start to perceive you as unreliable or careless or even untrustworthy. And that can impact so many things. Next reason not to take shortcuts, without getting too far into the details, I've learned this one the hard way, you could run into legal issues. Some shortcuts may involve dare I say, illegal behavior or shortcuts involve maybe not following a rule as you should have been following. Maybe it's cheating or it's deception or just simply breaking a rule or a regulation. Since I mentioned it, I might as well go a little deeper. I took a shortcut on marketing about a decade ago. And as a result, the Arizona Board of Realtors took issue with that. I was wrong, they were right. But my desire to get it done prompted me to really not thoroughly review the rules around the thing I was doing. So when you take a shortcut and you run into legal or even ethical issues in some cases, it could obviously lead to legal repercussions. It could lead to ethical dilemmas. It could lead to damage to your integrity and your reputation. Shortcuts can have long-term consequences. They may be immediate benefits or maybe savings in time or in effort or in money or resources. But these same shortcuts can have long-term consequences like having to do some rework down the road or future delays or additional costs or missed opportunities. And these things outweigh any of the initial gains. The last couple things I'll say around shortcuts, dependency on shortcuts, relying too heavily on shortcuts, it can create a dependency that hinders your ability to develop essential skills, to develop more knowledge, to develop expertise. This can limit your growth. It can limit your creativity. It can just make it harder for you to overcome challenges. In other words, if you're always looking for a shortcut, if you're dependent on shortcuts and you don't learn lessons, you don't develop essential skills, you don't develop expertise, over time, you're going to be limited. Last thing I'll say around shortcuts, taking shortcuts can prevent you from fully understanding or mastering a task or mastering a process or mastering a concept. This hurts your learning and development. It prevents you from reaching your full potential. something that we try to do here at No Days Off. So in summary, while shortcuts may offer some short-term benefits, and they do, and some efficiencies, they oftentimes come with some significant risks and drawbacks. I think it's really important that we all weigh the potential consequences, and we do so carefully, and we consider the long-term implications before we opt for taking a shortcut in any aspect of work or in life. There are countless examples we can go through of companies that took shortcuts that cost them dearly in the end. There are personal things we could take a look at, relationships where you took a shortcut, or your health where you took a shortcut, or wealth, where I know I've, early in my career tried to take a shortcut to accumulating more, and as a result, got my butt kicked. Lots of places this shows up. Shortcuts, again, sometimes have immediate benefits, but oftentimes you pay the consequence down the road. So the focusing question for you, where are you taking shortcuts right now? Where are you thinking about taking a shortcut today? And have you weighed the potential costs against what you perceive to be the benefits? Who could you talk to about this shortcut? Who's gone down this path before that you could read about or learn from? I want you to really, really think through this shortcut a bit more. I think when you get to be a little bit more further along in your career, you start to look back at some of those shortcuts and you're like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. So my hope here today is that I'm influencing those that are considering taking a shortcut to reconsider your position and recognize it may not pay off in the end. That's all I have for you today, the No Days Off podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. So let's get after it.